everybody. I'm Mary Polka. I work for Remax Twin City here in Brantford, and I'm here today with Ryan Devlin from Devlin's Country Bistro in Mount Pleasant. Hi, Ryan.
Hey guys, how are you?
Thanks for coming on this interview with me today. There's been such a great outpouring of support for some of our local restaurant owners in the community, and so I just thought I would like to do a little interview with you and pick your brain about your business.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Happy to have it be picked.
Great. So I was wondering if you would give us all just a little history lesson about Devlin's and the long history it's had in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of history here for sure. Within this building that I'm sitting right now, I'm actually the fifth generation of business. The building itself has been in our family for well over 160 years. We honestly are trying to figure out all the exact math and dates on all of that. It's stuff important for us to know, and we know that. And with the history and the legacy, there's lots that goes on within this area. And honestly, trying to find someone who knows all the answers is always one of our struggles. But as far as the business is concerned itself, it's Devlin's Country Bistro now. My dad started the business. We're actually going into our 30th anniversary this August, beginning of August. Prior to that, this bar area that I'm sitting in right now is called Devlin's Lucky Dollar. And that goes back to my great-great-grandparents who ran that. And that was always the local butcher shop, post office, general store. At that point of time, it was actually kind of the hub for the area, so anyone in surrounding areas would actually have to come here to get their mail or to get their meat.
Cool.
And it's kind of just changed over the years. So now here we are. We're kind of an upscale dining restaurant. We don't like to say fine dining because we like to welcome anyone in here wearing whatever they're wearing. We always just kind of say dress as you would like everyone else to see, but we want you to be comfortable. So comfortable fine dining would kind of be our approach. Catering is our mainstay of business. We do over 350 catering jobs a year, 100 of them being weddings. And my dad and I are partners now. We work hard to do whatever we can every single day, and there's no limit to our business. It's kind of what we always say.
That's really awesome. I read on your website that your dad had initially tried to talk you out of taking on the business and joining the food industry world. Is that true? And if it is, what made you decide to stick around?
Yeah, he didn't succeed with that part, that's for sure. Growing up, it was kind of the first 3 years of my life. We lived above the restaurant, and my dad was working endless hours during that period of time, along with my mom, to run the business. And he did not want me to have to do the same. But during that period of time, the cooks were my babysitters. And from a very young age, I developed a huge passion for cooking. And unfortunately, my mom passed away at a very young age, and the only time for me to see my dad was to really go to work with him. So right from the age of literally 0, I was in the kitchen. I loved catering. I loved everything around it. At the age of 13, I started working in another restaurant, and he always wanted to try and get me out of it, but he still forced me to work at the same time. So I don't think that he really tried that hard. And he always said that he wanted me to be a doctor. He wanted there to be a doctor in the family. He said that he'd pay for my education if I went to go be a doctor, but I didn't want to be a doctor. So I decided I would want to do something in the food industry. And I didn't want to just ever be a chef. And he said if I went to culinary school that I would be teaching them. So I went to school for business, and then kind of towards the end of school, when I graduated, he asked me what I was going to do. And I said, well, I was going to open up a restaurant or be in the restaurant industry. And that's kind of when we came up with the idea of the succession plan and what we would do moving forward. And I never wanted to go into a business that was established and just keep it the same. I always have appreciated a challenge, and I wanted to grow the business and take it to another level. So over the past number of years, we've been doing lots and lots of different things, and I try and grow it every single day. And now here we are.
That's awesome. So what is it that motivates you now to keep going and to stay in the industry?
Honestly, it's the challenge. It's every day is completely different. I love being able to see people, talk to people. I always call it the factor. I like hearing how happy people are, and food is just something that I'm super, super passionate about. I absolutely love it with my whole heart. everything that surrounds it. Like my favorite hobby and pastime is to go out and eat. So I just like being part of it. I love the network of people, of business owners, of chefs, of servers. We just get along so well in this industry. And I really like just creating awesome things and doing different things. If I did the same thing every day, I wouldn't love it. But the fact that I'm able to do something completely different every day, and I have the loyal customers and following that I do that are willing to come to the crazy events that I decide that I want to do. And it honestly motivates me because everyone else is such great supporters.
That's amazing. And I can certainly vouch for the food and the fun, as I've been one of your servers in the past for some of your catering events. And thankfully, being a server also comes with the added bonus of having dinner prepared
Of course.
by you, and it's always unbelievably good. So I can certainly vouch for the quality of the food as well.
We'll never let anyone go hungry. That's a promise.
You sure wouldn't. How do you think your business has changed for you this year with everything that has happened with COVID?
Honestly, I won't be negative. It's not the year at all that I expected or I prepared for. 2020 was definitely going to be our banner year. It was everything that I've worked towards and more, and endless amounts of hours went into making it what it was going to be. And that's not going to be the case anymore. But again, I appreciate a challenge, and I've really enjoyed the challenge of takeout. It's something that's completely different. It's kind of given me the opportunity to make a different restaurant every single week, so to speak, right? Just working with different themes and flares and ideas. Like I really love the idea of what we did last week with the Lobster Fest, or sorry, that was a couple of weeks ago. But this week we're doing a smoke fest. So I'm actually bringing in a commercial rib rig used in Rib Fest, and we're going all out with it. So we're bringing in hundreds and hundreds of racks of ribs and whole chickens and pork butts, and we're bringing in big tomahawk steaks and live lobsters again for Father's Day. So I like being able to do kind of that event aspect of things. So back to answer your question, it's changed. This is again not the year that we were expecting, but it's a takeout year. So we're gonna go with it. We're not gonna rush into doing anything too big or too small. We're gonna do what we're comfortable with, and we love it.
That's great. And takeout was never something on your radar before, was it? Or were you mostly a dine-in experience and catering?
You know what? There's Mount Pleasant villagers would always call it the backdoor special.
Oh.
So we've always done takeout on obviously a much smaller scale. When this all sort of happened, the shutdown happened, I had a lot of product and inventory here. And I just kind of decided, you know what, like I'll try and do something with it to move it. And I know that I have the loyal customers that I do that would be willing to buy it. And it worked from the start. And then I kind of really liked it, to be honest. It was a complete change of pace. And for the first few weeks, it was actually, I was like loving every single second of it, because those would have been our slower time anyways. Like March and April, we don't really have much catering booked, right? Now that we're into June, and June is our busiest catering month of the year, it's hard not to really look at what we're missing out on. But we're able to make lots of great connections. I've met tons of people through the orders and through the regular customers, people ordering every single week. So it's completely changed my mind on a whole lot of things, I'm going to be honest. But I love the relationships that we built through it.
That's great. Awesome. Do you have some goals for yourself and your business for next year?
I really hope that I can make next year what this year was supposed to be. At least we're able to move lots of the bookings that we had from this year to next year.
Great.
And I'm really hoping those all come to fruition, and we're at the point where we can host hundreds of people again next year, because that is kind of what our business is built and designed for. We're in the midst of building a catering commissary. We haven't actually broke ground on it, but we've always operated out of this facility, which we'll continue to do. But we're just planning on putting on a very large addition to be able to accommodate all of the catering that we do too. So we have 2 catering trucks that are completely equipped, as you know, with reefer units, convection ovens, fryers. We do all the cooking on site, but we need a big space to prepare everything. So we're hoping that by putting on that catering commissary kitchen that we'll be able to do even more. And once we're beyond this, hoping that we see lots more big events.
Great. And can you say something about your community that you work in, Mount Pleasant? What's your favorite part about Mount Pleasant?
You know what? I love everything about this community. It's we've always kind of had this idea where everything's location, location, location. And for the longest time, everyone said we were in the middle of nowhere, but now I say we're in the middle of everywhere. It's a great meeting point for people between London and Toronto, for instance, Brantford and Port Dover. The community that we're supported by is, I would say, the best community you could ever imagine. We know everyone that walks down the road. Everyone is so friendly. I'll use a charity cooler as an example, that we have people every single day that graciously come by and they get their lunch or their dinner out of the cooler, and they're so generous, but they're all so supportive. And it's not just for the business, and I could be selfish and talk about the business, but it's to one another. There's been lots of circumstances within the community where people have needed help, and you could just look on the Mount Pleasant community page, and no one goes long without getting the help that they need. They support not only us, but every business that's kind of within the area, but one another. And we're so grateful to be here.
Amazing. That's awesome. And my last question for you is, if you could pick from all the meals, the dishes that you've created over the years, do you have a favorite?
You know what? I always go back to the certain things that I will forever love. And I mean, I've created lots of things that I'll never be able to create again. And lots of times I wish that I wrote those things down, but lots of my inspiration comes from my upbringing, and my grandmas, especially. They're both incredible cooks and have inspired me so much. So I always look to those kind of items. But my all-time favorite food is steak tartare. Steak tartare, French onion soup, and Caesar salad are kind of my 3 number one things. And as much as I could think about everything else that I've done, those will always stick out in my mind the strongest.
Those are it for you, right?
Yeah, those are the top 3 for sure. And then, of course, pierogies and cabbage rolls and shepherd's pie and scalloped potatoes. The list goes on. But
oh my God,
we don't have to go there.
That would be my favorite.
Yes.
Pierogies. Well,
Yes,
thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's nice to put a face to the name, although I've met you several times. But
Yes.
Remember, it's on our Food to Go page. We'll love to see the face to the name. You do post often on the group, and we thank you for that. And I am happy to share this interview with the community at large so that we can continue to support your business, because it's amazing.
Thank you so much. You guys are doing a great job, and I love seeing the network of not only the businesses, the restaurants, but just how the whole community itself came together during this trying time. We appreciate every single one of the customers, and you guys have done a great job at getting the name and the word out to everyone with what we're all doing.
Well, thank you. Everybody loves to look at really nice pictures of food, so
yes, it works well.
We can't take any credit with that, because it's your food that's impressing everybody. So,
well, you did a great job organizing the group, and we're grateful for that.
Well, thank you. Nice to talk to you.
Likewise.
And good luck with the rest of the week. I guess this is your first day. You're getting prepped for the rest of the week, so good luck.
Yeah, it's prep time.
Yeah, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.